What's up, y'all? It's your boy Richie Sky. We are back with another video on the Unfiltered channel. And I figured I would do something kind of cool with this channel, and I would actually start doing my recaps of some of my other favorite shows that are on Bravo. And actually we'll talk about probably all of them, but this gives me an opportunity to talk about them at length with other people that I know love Housewives. And today we have on the show, we have our very special guest, Miss O'Reilly Knox. Now, you guys can't see her because legitimately I didn't give her enough time to get camera ready, but that's fine because we're still gonna keep it moving anyway. I'm trying to determine if I'm gonna do these daily or if I'm gonna do these just weekly, but I know that it'll give us a chance to sort of dive into the actual episodes of some of our favorite shows. And since there are so many shows on Bravo right now, I just felt like, we can really tap into, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in a pretty major way, specifically because the episodes are still ongoing. So things are still happening. This stuff is still popping off. And we're going to be discussing season 10 episode, what was this, 11?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 11. The title of the episode, like I said earlier, is Kiss and Tell All. So overall, what were your thoughts on this episode?
I thought it was a good lead-in to what's going to happen next week. At first it was kind of dragging, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of like one of those filler episodes." And then they got to that bedroom scene. So, but I mean, I know we're talking about the whole episode, but at first I was just kind of like, "Okay, well, this is, it was a continuation." I will say this. Let me just back up because I got ahead of myself. I will say the funniest thing is at the beginning of the episode, when what's her name? Camille is sitting there talking to Teddy, and Teddy's just like, "I know you don't like me. We don't have to do the pleasantries. Like, this is just, she's just like trying to make amends." But she was so vile and horrible to everybody, even though she was good TV. She was so vile and horrible to everyone last season. I could see why Teddy's just like, let's stop with the fakery. I'm not here for the fake stuff. And most people would have just let her go on and just been like, "Oh, really fake." I kind of applaud Teddy for just calling her out on the BS. Like, you know what? I know you don't like me, so you don't have to do this.
You know what? Forgive me, Riley, because just a quick little note. I forgot to mention that she is Riley Knox is one of the top, if not the number one Beyonce impersonator in the United States of the America. So we are privileged to have your time today in speaking with this. I wanted to acknowledge that. You guys can follow her on Instagram and Twitter at Riley Knox. Okay, it's spelled just like you see it right here. Okay, I like Camille, right? I absolutely.
You like Camille and you don't like Teddy.
I don't like Teddy at all. And I really wish that Camille had been a little bit more strategic with her apologies to people. I feel like she really only needed to have conversations with the power players in the group. And to me, to be quite honest with you, Teddy isn't one of them.
But she did. Maybe it's because
I felt like that. To me, it was the most important for her to make amends with Kyle.
Right.
To me, that should have been her strategy. And then her strategy should have been to go and get to know the new girls. I think that the reception that Denise gave her should have let her know that Denise would have been, okay, Denise, I think I can get to Denise and she's going to be fine. She should have probably researched a little bit to find out what was going on to determine who her allies needed to be in this situation. And I just don't think she should have wasted her time with Teddy Mellencamp.
Well, see, here's the problem, Richie. She never apologized. You don't go into a situation where you know what happened between you two. The first thing out of her mouth should have been, "I'm sorry," not trying to juice somebody up and pretend like nothing happened. Like, "You look so pretty. You're so pregnant." Like, "Oh, wait till they get older," and all this stuff, as if Teddy doesn't have like 3 kids already. Like, it makes no sense to me that she didn't lead with that when it was already awkward and there was already an elephant in the room. Same thing with Lisa Rinna. It's like, let me just pretend to be nice to everybody. Even though I made it with Kyle, I had a conversation with Kyle, but I'm not going to go in and actually acknowledge what happened. It's like Denise and Teddy had to say something to her before she actually turned and said, I'm really sorry to Denise.
I think that Lisa Rinna did what was going to be best for TV, but I almost kind of feel like they probably all got a heads up from Kyle that she would be coming around, and they had probably all made a commitment to ice her out. That's kind of what I think. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I felt like behind the scenes, they had already had conversations. We're just going to snuff her out so she doesn't have any screen time, because they had brought her back. Production brought her back legitimately to start either drama or to add to what might have been looking like a pretty, I don't want to call it a lackluster season, but another season of a pile up on one person. Yeah.
And if they had let her back in, she would have been filming. They were just like, we don't want to film with her. That was their way of producing in a sense.
From what I heard, she was only in one other event this coming season, and she wasn't out at the reunion. So, which the reunion filmed last Thursday, actually my birthday.
Yeah, but you know what? I have a problem with that reunion because Brandi should have been there.
So, do you want to tackle Brandi now, or was there anything else in the episode that you kind of wanted to discuss before we get to that? Because I feel like that's going to be the length of our discussion.
Yeah. What else happened they were then Erika had her shoe dazzle event, which was cute, and then Erika, and we have to talk about Erika's conversation with Denise. Well, Denise's conversation with Erika, because Erika didn't seem to give her much of anything. That was very interesting. And I know that Erika gives you a chance, but then when you cross her, she becomes cold as ice. And she's gotten that thing for being the ice queen before.
Yeah, but she has a problem with people calling her cold. So I don't understand.
She doesn't. But see, here's the thing. I think Denise thought she was just going to go over there and just say, like, I don't want a problem with you. I really like you, blah, blah. And thought Erika was just going to be like, I like you too. And let's just be friends. And Erika was just like, no, you walk away every time. I don't know what your problem is. And really her issue is, as Teddy said also, my issue isn't really with you. My issue is with your husband. It's with Aaron. But
that's not true.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that's true at all. But that's not
true. It isn't just an issue with Aaron. Aaron is an additional issue. Yeah. But I think that what Denise was trying to do from what I could see was she was trying to settle the first issue first.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's go one step at a time. Like, I wanted to acknowledge, hey, I don't have an issue with you per se, because she literally had the one conversation with Erika about the situation with her daughter. Erika apologized. That was it. Right. But it wasn't just Erika that was talking about the stuff at the dinner. So she talked with Teddy and Sutton about it as well. I didn't see where she went around speaking so negatively about the ladies that it has required them to jump down her throat every time they see her.
But you know what the problem is? She keeps walking away because she's done having the conversation. She already said, we've had this conversation 4 times in 4 different situations. I keep walking away and I keep telling you guys, I'm ready to drop it. I told you guys while we're sitting at the table, I want to drop it. And these ladies, for some reason, just can't get it through their thick skulls. It's done. It's over. They're like, well, she keeps leaving. We're never going to resolve anything. We resolved it. I don't want you talking about my kids like that. So that's the end. Like, there's nothing to resolve. There's nothing more to talk about. I do not understand how on earth they don't get this. Just because I am sex positive and just because I talk about it with you ladies doesn't mean I want to talk about it around my kids. And just because their dad is Charlie Sheen doesn't mean that I want to talk about this with my kids. I don't know why these ladies don't get this. And I said, even on my channel, I was like, I don't understand why they just can't let it go. And it's going to be the thing at the reunion, which is so annoying because she won't be able to leave then. And they're going to think, oh, well, now we can really get her because she can't just walk away. But we already talked about it. We dead at the conversation. Why do we keep having to talk every single time they see her? That's what they want to bring up. Wouldn't you be annoyed if you said to me, we talked about something and you said, that makes me uncomfortable. This is, I wish you would respect me and I'm done talking about the subject. And then the next 4 times I see you, I'm like, Richie, let's talk about it. And why are you walking away?
I'm not talking to you about it, and I don't care how many times you talk about it. I'm not talking about it. Once I'm done with it, I'm done with it. Like we really have to move on. I feel like it's maddening to me how they kept bringing it up. But I do feel like, I get Erika's position about wanting to talk to Denise about Aaron, but I do have a problem with Erika and I have to acknowledge this. If you don't want said husband to talk to you anymore, then she should not have initiated that conversation with him when they were all at Sutton's event. Erika initiated that.
Yeah.
He was
and they waited until Denise went to the restroom.
Exactly. And I'm like, that you can't cry victim when you are the aggressor at this point. Yeah. That's just my thought. Now, granted, I do feel like, do you feel like he was aggressive with them?
I think it's gonna come, even if he had, I think it just comes off aggressive, period, that a man is involving himself in their even if his tone, because his tone was not aggressive. I don't technically think it was
not aggressive.
It wasn't, but see, it's gonna come off to them as aggressive because 1, he's a man. 2, they're gonna feel like he's mansplaining. And 3, our issue was with your wife, and we're friends with your wife, not really you. You're just kind of tag along. And it never works out. And Dorit tried to warn them. It never works out the same way it didn't with PK. When the husband gets in, we get it. You want to defend your wife and all of that. That's great. But your wife is on the show. Your wife is the one that we're friends with. And this was an issue with your wife, not with you, So yeah. It just kind of, and also add to the fact that Aaron is, the way Aaron talks does come off as mansplaining. He talks to you as if you're dumb.
Okay, I was about to ask, what is mansplaining? Can you
mansplaining? Yeah, mansplaining is when a man tries to explain to a woman something as if she's dumb because she's a woman. Basically, like you ladies aren't getting this. That's mansplaining. Like men do it all the time. I'll tell you the profession that men do it a lot in. Mechanics do it a lot to women because they feel like, oh, women don't know anything about cars, and so they mansplain to them what this means, and like it's never a good thing. It does not, like, no woman likes being mansplained about anything, and even though he wasn't aggressive,
mansplaining a tone, or is it?
No, it's not a tone. Okay. Mansplaining is just the information. He was telling them, like, you ladies feel good about yourself. Like, he was being condescending in that way, but it wasn't the tone in which he was talking. It's what he was saying to them. Like, you ladies are too dumb to get this. And also because Aaron, is pretty smart and a scientist, and he feels like, he's very he feels like it seems like he's almost like talking down to like a dumb 50s wife. You know what I mean? Like from the 50s that doesn't know anything about, just be pretty. You don't know much, that kind of thing.
I do agree with this one point, though. I do feel like Denise should have just never brought him around after it didn't go well the first time. I definitely would not have brought him around any other time. You know what I mean? But the bad thing about it is Denise is on an island by herself because it has become everybody against the one, and Garcelle is usually absent.
Right. I was about to say Garcelle's on her side, but Garcelle isn't always there. And honestly, I think Dorit's kind of on her side also, but Dorit is not really trying to get into it. But they're like, Dorit seems to get it. Dorit's not really.
Dorit's scared to be Target again because that was her first season.
Right. Exactly.
Denise is the new Dorit. You know what I mean? In terms of, she's the one that they're all going to be ganging up on, and so there was that. I want to talk about Garcelle and Sutton real quick before we get into the meat and potatoes. Garcelle and Sutton, what did you think about the conversation? I was amused.
Oh, I thought it was so cute. I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. I love that Garcelle is very blunt when she asks something. And I love that Sutton knew what a kitchen was.
Yeah, you know what I thought? I thought this was a Housewives conversation. Like, this was an old school Housewives conversation where you have two women who are discovering each other's commonalities, but one is a little bit more direct than the other, so it catches the other off guard, and you kind of get this weird interaction, but it turns out to be fun and funny. to me, I was like, now this is kind of what I need to see more of. And therefore, we need to see more of Garcelle.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I think Garcelle would have been more of a. I think Garcelle has the potential, if she sticks around a little more, to be one of the power players on the show. Like, I think, her attitude, the way she is, the way she talks, she's no nonsense. I said this before. I think a lot of the women, especially Kyle, are afraid. They tiptoe around her because they are afraid to come off as like she's the first Black cast. She's the only Black cast member. And we don't want to come off it, have issues with her, because then it's going to feel like we have issues with Black people, even though they don't. It's just like the littlest things, like let's avoid getting into confrontation with her. Even if she brings up confrontation, they shut it down immediately.
I also think it's sometimes like, even with Denise, her first season, she had a pretty light season, right? I think for some housewives, when they come on, their first season is kind of light. Like, it depends, because there's so many of them right now, right? That they've got their target, so they don't really care about, Garcelle. They think she's fabulous and she's never there, so it's kind of like whatever, you know what I mean? But I feel like if she's around a lot more, especially in her next season, then I feel like she'll definitely have more interplay with the ladies. And I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens during this trip, because they're all going to be there together, and we won't have Garcelle in and out, and the reunion as well, because they're all forced to come together.
Absolutely.
So I want to get into this scene, because there's some things that I want to introduce that happen afterwards. And the scene that I really want to discuss is this whole kiss and tell all between, Teddy and Kyla having this scene in her bedroom.
Yes.
And then in comes Kim, and conveniently, Brandi's there with her mall ponytail. Okay.
Oh my God! Did you notice there was one of those clip-on phony ponies?
I hate a mall ponytail. Something fierce. Who sold that to her at what mall, and why did she think that it was appropriate to wear
clip-on ponytail? The clip-on ponytail is one thing, Richie. But what did I text you this morning? Do you want to talk about that yet? What I said this morning, that face, that girl. And what the sad thing about it is, in this scene, they send flashbacks. They show flashbacks to other seasons with Brandi, and she looks like a different person. Because
oh my God, listen,
her confessional is lopsided filler, and it is bad.
Well, apparently, from what I understand, and we actually just got an update. I'm going to show you something in just a second. So we're going to pause that conversation, because I have to give you this update. It just came through. But Brandi, from my understanding, had some type of, I guess maybe she was trying to get some fillers. This is what I heard. And they hit a nerve or something like that. And so her lips aren't able to move properly. Okay. That lip is frozen, from my understanding.
I'm not talking about her lips. I'm talking about her cheeks and whatever else is going on up in there. In her confessional.
Let's pull it up.
Oh my God. And it's lopsided. Her face is crooked now. And she's so pretty. I don't understand.
When I was looking at those flashbacks at her, I was like, dang, Brandi was a bad bee back in the day, boy. Beautiful. Brandi looked good back in the day. Oh, wait. Thank you, Chantel, about this. That's how I was feeling too about Aaron. You're not going to attack my wife and I'm sitting there. I mean, that's just it. Chantel also said too much filler in the face with Brandi. We're going to pause that conversation because we just got an update. Riley, I want to show you something real quick. Let's discuss it. And I'm so glad this happened. And I looked down at my phone while we were sitting right here. We just got to look at the reunion looks for season and reunion. Let's see what we can see here.
I love Teddy's hair.
Yeah, Teddy's hair looks good.
I expected more from Erika. Sutton looks cute. Denise looks like Denise. What is going on with Kyle's hair? And Lisa Rinna, yes, honey.
I'm loving Lisa Rinna's look. It's giving me season 8 LVP?
Yeah.
Remember LVP dress.
Garcelle just looks like she's going to the PTA meeting. I don't like it.
Well, the funny thing about it is, I guess I need to see Garcelle sitting down because do you know that confessional that she's in that silver?
Mm-hmm.
That is banging. I almost wish she had just reworn that.
Yeah. I love Teddy's hair pink. I knew that it's been pink. It was kind of like teetering on rose gold, and now it's like really pink.
I like the pink on her.
I mean, what can we say? But Dorit's always going to bring it. Dorit's always Dorit. I love Dorit.
I don't like Dorit with her hair pulled back.
You don't?
I don't know. It's just something I'm not feeling. I like when she does more fun kind of stuff with her hair. And maybe this is fun. Maybe it's fun in the back and slap down in the front, but I really can't tell. What? Okay, so Erika, I feel like Erika gave us what Garcelle gave us in that confessional.
Yeah, but for Erika, that's kind of boring. I've seen Erika really bring it at reunions. And Denise just kind of looks like Denise. Sutton.
Denise looks like Denise on a regular day, and so does Sutton.
I know you're going to hate that I'm saying this, but only because it's a big change. Teddy for the win and Lisa Rinna next.
Yeah, you know what?
And Kyle looks like, I don't like Kyle with bangs at all, but this hair, what is that? Is that the new Lisa Vanderpump
hair? I like the color of Kyle's dress, though. I think the color is
a very pretty dress. There is no cohesion at all in these looks at all. There's not a theme. They're all going to a different party.
I'm gonna give it to Teddy for the pose and the hair and the color combination.
What?
I'm still not feeling it for her. Okay, I'm still not feeling it for her. But then I'm gonna kind of go with, believe it or not, I'm gonna go with Garcelle. I like the look. I think I'm gonna give next Lisa Rinna and then Kyle. So for me, it's Teddy, Garcelle, Lisa Rinna, then Kyle. The bottom row, I ain't too sure about.
I need to see more of Dorit's dress, though. I want to see more of Dorit's dress. But you don't like
maybe. I don't know. So that was that. I wanted to make sure that we had a chance to chat about that since the news just broke on that. So let's get down to the conversation between Kim and Kyle and Teddy and Brandi. Mm-hmm. Now, did you think it was convenient that Kim was stopping by that night with Brandi, or do you think that was planned?
I honestly don't, because she was just like, well, why is she in the car? Tell her she can come in. And she was like, well, what if I had said no? Like, I really don't. I think she was just dropping off the dress, and it was supposed to be a conversation between her and Teddy. I don't know how these things work, but I want to believe that it just was a happenstance. But whether it was planned or not.
It's so much to me that goes into filming a scene. And it's just hard for me to believe that they did not know that Brandi was going to be there. It's just hard for me to believe. I'm just, because there's so much planning that goes into doing one scene, especially on behalf of production. So I've been reading a lot online that people were saying that it was a setup.
Well, I mean, I would believe it if somebody says it is. I can definitely believe that.
So what did you
think? My thing is whether it was a setup or whether it was not, the tea was piping hot. It was piping hot tea.
Let's really get into that then. What did you think about the story? Because it didn't make sense to me.
Okay, so here's the thing. The introduction was very interesting. How Kyle was saying, all these things. They were talking about Denise, and then you see this look that you give your friend when your friend's about to tell something you told them in confidence, and you're like, don't say anything. And that was the look that Brandi gave Kim. And I think that was genuine, because Brandi's always been anti-homewrecker, anti-cheater, and she's always been, she's always the person that she wrote 2 books about it, all this stuff. And so she was embarrassed, and she didn't want to come off as the homewrecker. But here's the thing about Brandi. Brandi is messy. Brandi is a mess. Brandi is crazy. She's very transparent with who she is. I don't really remember her being a liar, and with such detail of a story, even if the details are a little off, that story happened. You can't convince me that happened.
There's a first for everything. Okay. I guess what made
You
it
think
so
she's
odd,
lying?
I don't know, but what made it odd to me was that when she showed up at the party, she didn't seem like she was upset at Denise at any point in time. The way she literally, think about how the way she made it seem like with Denise. And I'm going to actually pull up something because I want to show you, like, she made it seem like, even afterwards, she made it seem like Denise has done her so dirty. Now, if somebody had done
Brandy, nervous to see her though.
Huh?
She said she was nervous to see her. She was nervous the whole party, which is why she got so drunk.
I'm glad you said that.
That's why she got so drunk. Remember, she came in the party with the trans girl, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so like, what is this?"
1 second. Give me 1 second. That wasn't the right one. There's a statement from Denise. And let me see if I can pull it up on my phone because I saved it. I thought I sent it to myself. Here it is. Hold on 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. I'm glad you mentioned that because that was something that I wanted to point out. So when a person commented and said, Brandy says she's uncomfortable around Denise, but asked Aaron and her to be a throuple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Denise then comes in with saying, what Brandy said is not true. She told us she was nervous seeing the other ladies and wasn't sure how they would be with her. They didn't air that though. So she's telling them one thing. So she's obviously telling the ladies one thing, and then she's telling Denise another thing. And that was my thing. Brandy said that she was so uncomfortable to be around Denise, but yet at a given moment, she's asking to be in a relationship with them. Like, it doesn't make sense.
But see, here's the thing. So this is my theory, and this is just a theory because I do believe the story. And I love Denise, but I do believe the story. This is what I feel. I feel like she was nervous to see Denise and Aaron. So she got really drunk, and she did. She got so drunk, like really drunk. And I feel like to save herself and save face, she said, I want to be in a throuple with you guys. So that way it doesn't look like I cheated with your wife on you. And like, basically like, let's be a throuple so that like, I like both of you, and your wife and I have already been together. So, and when you're drunk, well, I don't know.
Think about it.
I don't know, but
really
you know, when she said that, Denise really didn't remember.
If you don't want to bring attention to something and Denise made you feel so uncomfortable, why were you slapping Denise Richards on the butt?
So let me ask this. Since they were friends, her and Denise were friends, and they did spend time together, what would Brandy gain from this very elaborate, drawn out lie?
Airtime, storyline, I don't know.
Of both lie like that? Look, you know what happened to Phaedra. So.
But here's the thing though. I don't know if you remember that girl Pam/Dana who used to be on the show several years ago, but she basically made a post, and I can't remember which site it was on, and she talked about how Brandy back in season 2 had said that she was going to bring out a rumor about Kyle's husband Maurizio in season 3. I don't think that Brandy is dumb. I think that when Brandy comes on the show, and we've seen it, and I don't understand what everybody seems to forget. Time and time again, Brandy comes on the show to bring the drama.
Well, she's the girl who does that. She's like, every group has someone who's the the S starter. Like they start.
And she swears up and down she's not lying. She swears up and down there's more to the story that's going to come out. And I'm going to wait and see what's really going on. But at the end of the day, why would you kiss and tell this? Why would you tell this story? And she made it seem like Denise had done something so heinous to her. And I'm like, what did she do?
She said the thing is that when she did this with Denise, she thought that Aaron knew. And then until Denise said, oh, don't tell Aaron about this, because he knew they were going away together. He knew that she knows that they play around and they have like threesomes and stuff. And she didn't know that this was behind his back. And she basically made her the homewrecker. That's what she's saying. She said she made me the homewrecker, but my thing is that she was just like, well, this stays between us. That's what Kyle said. She's like, well, it's out there now. Like they literally just filmed it. So
yeah, I'm like, so to me, it just seems kind of crazy. It's like in 1 second you're saying, yeah, I effed her, and then the next second it was, oh, I was uncomfortable with the whole interaction and sleeping in the bed with her. I don't believe for 1 second she was uncomfortable getting into the bed with that woman.
No, she wasn't uncomfortable. She was just, she said, no, she said after the fact, she said, Aaron can't ever find out about this. And she was just like,
no.
Wait a minute.
She said even when she sat in that bed, she was uncomfortable. But you just 2 minutes ago said you left her. To me, it's just too. The way that Brandi's telling the story makes it come across suspect. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, so do you think that maybe part of it's true?
I think that something may have happened, right? But I don't know if it's as salacious as Brandi is making it out to seem, because otherwise her actions are incongruent with the way she is telling the story. And so I just don't know at this point. I'm just trying to figure it out. And then she said, and I don't know if I put this one in there, somebody said, even if you're telling the truth, why ruin someone's marriages? I've been with plenty of married guys. Ooh, why are you admitting that? But never felt the need to tell their wives or husbands about it. Now, this is on Twitter. And Brandi says, first off, F off. I'm not ruining any marriages. They are open and asked me to find chicks for them. Please F off. So now so first it was that you were the homewrecker, right? And you were disgusted by that. That's what she did to you, right? But then in the tweets, you're now telling us that they're open and they asked you to find chicks for them. Which version of this story is true, ma'am?
But see, this is why they should have had her at the reunion. They did a big disservice by not having her at that reunion. That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know why.
We only get one person's perspective and everybody just arguing with, that's a big storyline. That's a huge storyline. And it's funny because I thought that the girls my theory on going back to the not letting the story go about like talking about sex in front of the kids. I felt like the women were prolonging that because they really had nothing else going on, and producers might have threatened them like, you better not have a season like y'all had last year that was so boring. So they stretched that out, and then all of a sudden here comes this piping hot tea that for some reason I feel like Kyle might have known about before.
Yeah, I don't know. Something, and I pulled up the tweet right here. She says they are open and asked me to find chicks for them. So again, she made it seem like Denise did something that was so heinous to her, but in the same breath, she's saying that they were asking. I don't get it. To me, there's a lot up in here somewhere, and she's thrown it out there in some way, shape, or form. I just don't know which part is the lie.
Okay, so here's the other part of this though. That wasn't the only thing she said. She said that Denise has been talking a lot of crap about everybody in the group. Like really, like basically about every single person. And that's what's going to come out next week also, where they go around, they confront Denise about, oh, so you think I'm this and you think I'm that. And, they all go around the table and basically attack her. And Brandi told us
Do you believe that?
I think it sounds convenient, and I think they'll believe it because it's kind of like the general consensus.
They want to. I want to pull this up because this is something that Teddy had posted. Teddy to me is a Twitter thug when she wants to be. So apparently she posted something on Twitter. She says, got my sense of humor from my dad's shadow, # Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So it's a screenshot of her and her dad, John Mellencamp, having a conversation via text. And I guess it was from what Brandi said that Denise said about Teddy living in her dad's shadow. And so her dad, I guess, texted her and said, I know you're busy living in my shadow, and then it says, Dennis Richards, never heard of him. Okay. And so then Teddy responds back and says, you know who Denise is, Dad? She is the girl who mentions Charlie Sheen every episode. Okay. So she posted that on
Teddy
for whatever reason, but Denise clapped back. And this is the first time I've seen Denise do something like this. She says, grown A women stooping to that level. Sorry, I never said you live in your dad's shadow, ever. I don't care what you were told. I was hurt you felt the need to share a salacious, untrue rumor about my marriage, especially given you are the daughter of a famous father and know what the potential impact could have been with my family and my kids. That is all I have ever said about your family, aka Dennis. I feel like Teddy is always like I just don't see it for her. I don't. I'm sorry.
Tell me what it is. What is it? What is it about Teddy that irks you so much? The accountability thing, because you don't like accountability people.
She's not likable, and I feel like she doesn't have the she doesn't have a TV personality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you said. Yeah. Okay.
You know, she's not fabulous. I'm not interested in her. And I feel like she's always trying to insert herself into situations so that she can get that little bit of camera time because her personality is lacking.
But I will say this season, she's been a lot more vocal and a lot more clap back and more forward than she's been the first season.
She's been more vocal, but at the end of the day, the producers obviously don't really feature her that much because there have been episodes where we haven't even seen her confessionals.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh, exactly. So I don't know. I just feel like this whole situation, you know, feels a little bit suspect to me. Chantel is right. She's boring. I feel like the whole situation feels suspect. I don't know. What do you think about the preview for next week?
The preview for next week makes me wish that it was tomorrow because I cannot wait to see what happens. Because you know what is weird, really strange to me? It looks like they all are like happy-go-lucky, and then they wait till they get to, and they've heard all this stuff about Denise saying things about them. They're out sightseeing and taking pictures and touring and doing all this stuff. And then they wait till they get to the dinner to really bring up like, oh, we've been having fun with you all day. And we've been smiling and laughing in your face. But we know you said something about us. And now we're going to wait and gang up on you at dinner. That's what it looks like in the preview. So I'm waiting to see how it plays out because they all knew about it, had a separate conversation before they even got to Rome, before Denise showed up. So I just hope Garcelle has her back because she don't have Aaron there with her.
Yeah, I wonder if she's going to stay on the trip after that point.
So here's my question for you. Do you think Denise Richards will be back for a third season?
So interestingly enough, I had heard when she first joined, and this could be a little bit of a reason why she might be getting so much angst from some of the ladies, was that she had a huge 4-year contract to be on the show. It was maybe like several million, I think I had heard. And I feel like because she had been paid so much and it had been so widely publicized, personally, what I feel like is that they decided that they were going to make her work.
Yeah. Okay. That makes total sense.
That's what I think. I feel like, you know, there might have been some of the other ladies who were like, wait, she's coming in here, you know, and she's making all this and we've been here these many years, you know what I mean? And she's making all this money. Oh, hell no. I feel like at a certain point in time, that's what they said. And they were like, you know what? Not this day. Not this day. Brandi, girl, what you got? Get on up in here. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I don't, and I'm just guessing, but I kind of feel like that could be it. And we know that Beverly Hills is a franchise where the ladies, you know, tend to like to gang up on one person.
Yes. So now my other question is, because I asked this on my channel with every video I do on there, I always say, whose side are you on, Denise or everybody else?
Right now, I'm still Team Denise.
Me too.
You really?
I am. I've always been Team Denise, but I feel like there's a little bit of truth to what Brandi's saying. I don't think Brandi's telling a complete fabrication.
Again, I agree with you there. I think that there's a little bit of truth and a whole lot of salacious.
But what reason would she have to turn on her is the question.
But see, that's my thing too. It's like, that's what makes it so odd. I don't feel like I have a concrete reason for why you would have these interactions with Denise, on, I guess, maybe one or several occasions, and then feel so much angst about it, and then see her and be completely fine and pat her on the butt. Then the next time you see the ladies, you're like, oh my God, I'm just so damaged by her. But yet months later, you're telling us via tweet that they were asking you to hook them up with other chicks. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Asking somebody to hook them up with other chicks is not the same as have a threesome with us or sleep with my wife. I might go out and know that you guys do threesomes and say, hey, here's a girl that would love to be in a threesome with you guys. But that doesn't mean that I want to cheat with your wife on you and not know.
But here's the thing. If she's saying that they're open, was it cheating?
No, it is cheating if you have sex with one person and your husband doesn't know and you don't want your husband to know. Like, you can't tell Aaron about this. Aaron can never know about this. Like that is cheating. You just because you're having, that's not an open marriage. It's a threesome. Threesomes are different from an open marriage.
I'm gonna need to see the text messages.
I don't think there were any, and that's the problem. You don't have receipts. This is why I get people to text every single thing. That's
the thing. Without any receipts, Brandy, this is going to be very hard to prove. Because right now in the media, Denise is as cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
So I always say this: don't protest too much. If somebody is telling a lie about you, you don't really have to go buck wild defending yourself. You can defend yourself one time and keep it moving.
Right.
To me, that's the mark of somebody that's like, I'm not even dealing with this. Or they a professional liar. I don't know. But Denise just does not come across like she's doing all of this stuff behind the scenes. I just don't get it.
Yeah, she doesn't. So this is going to be very interesting how next week plays out. I have no clue, but I'm dying for it to happen. I can't wait till next Wednesday.
Just a quick question. Will you be watching the Real Housewives of New York tonight?
I sure will.
All right. Well, maybe if we can grab some of your time tomorrow, if you have a moment, a second, we can kind of discuss it with the people. I'm going to try to have a couple of different rotating people kind of come in and just chat about the shows whenever they want. So we can just sort of keep the conversation going in less of a structured news type situation.
Yeah, that's great. Sure. Just give me a heads up so that I'm camera ready.
My day was thrown off a bit by a trip to the post office, and it just set back completely. But anyway, with that being said, guys, subscribe to the channel. It will be on the Unfiltered channel. Make sure you guys follow, and that's DJ Richie Scott Unfiltered on YouTube. Otherwise, you can just rewatch it here, however you choose to find it. But subscribe to my channel, DJ Richie Scott Unfiltered. Riley Knox, make sure you guys are following her on Instagram, and make sure they're following your YouTube, correct?
Yep. Absolutely.
Follow her on YouTube. Just look up Riley Knox. It's the same way here. You can see some of her past performances, some of the things that she does to prepare for shows. She's doing some great videos on, interior design and all that good stuff. So be sure to follow her there. Anything else you want to get out?
Yeah, no, you got it. That's about it.
Oh, well, alrighty then. All right. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next one.